Alright guys, I'm back again with the iPhone 6 Plus. I had made a video earlier regarding a iPhone 6 6 Plus that was unresponsive after leaving it charged. I was just trying to give you guys a good few tips about how to make it responsive again after trying power and home button at the same time and nothing happens. If none of that works out for you guys and where you manually have to disconnect the battery, which is here. If you haven't checked that video out, I recommend you see it before you proceed, just to get a little bit of more info on what to expect next. But anywho, where we disconnect the battery and reconnect it again, and we try to leave it charging and nothing happens, the next step is to get your hands on a iPhone 6 Plus battery or your model battery. I have a 6 Plus. If you don't know how to get your model, what you can do is check on the back where it says model. As you can see here, if you can see clearly, it says model A1522, and that is my model. You can just go to Google and type model A1522 battery, and you should get a good hit, a few hits on there, and pick out your battery on what you're looking for. Once we have your battery, the one way to test is disconnecting the other battery. First, just move the cable to the side. Since we're testing it, we don't know if it's bad yet. So once we have the battery, the test battery, just connect it. You don't have to have it installed all the way to test it. Just make sure it clips in there. You can hear it kind of clip in there. Now, once it's in there, you can power on the device and check it or leave it charging if the battery's dead. As you can see, now my phone is responsive. There we go. So now that we have confirmation that the phone does power on with a new battery, what we can do now is proceed to installing it. What you want to do is power the device off first. Power it off first. Just give it a second till it boots. My battery wasn't charged all the way, so it just powered off by itself. Once you confirm that it is powered off, just unclip the battery, just move it to the side, and now what we're going to do next is remove the screen. I have had the screws removed already. If you don't know how to do that, remove the screws and metal plate. It should look like this. Beforehand, there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. Remove those screws, move it to the side, and there should be 4 connectors. Unclip them using a pry tool. 1 on the side here, and there should be 3 on this side, one underneath the other. They all unclipped at the same time. But if it doesn't, just slightly wedge it on the side using a plastic pry tool. Never use metal due to the fact that you can chip away at the connectors. So use a plastic pry tool. Mine's a little beat up, but still gets the job done. Now, once you have those 4 connectors unclipped, the screen should be able to be moved to the side. Now we're left with the motherboard and battery and whatnot, charging port, and this is just the good stuff. Now, before we proceed, you're gonna need a heat gun to heat the battery up. You're gonna need like cardboard. I have this already made. Yours doesn't have to look necessarily like this. Mine is just something that I made quickly. You can just cut something out of a box and just do like, let's keep it like that. Just like our main focus now is just to heat this battery, just specifically battery, and try to avoid heating other components and messing with that. Before you begin, this battery seems to have the tabs or the glue removed on here. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it should look like this. The 6 Plus should have 3 of these. This is a 6. I'm just trying to give you a good idea of how to move it. Just move it to the side, because this runs all the way. This is actually the glue that's holding the battery still. And just move it to the side. There you go. And you're gonna do the same for all three. Like I mentioned, the 6 Plus has 3, and the 6 and the 5 models have 2. Just make sure you get those off the battery. And then once you confirm, once you remove both of those, then we're gonna proceed to adding cardboard or whatever is comfortable for you, just to avoid heating the battery directly. Now you're just gonna heat the battery a little, just enough to where it's hot. And you don't want to focusing on just one spot. Try moving it around. Once it's warm enough, what you want to do now is carefully making sure that the phone is not too hot. You're going to flip it around and try to aim where the battery's at. As you can see, the battery's here. So we're going to try to focus our heat on this side. Once it's hot enough to touch, you're gonna carefully flip it around, use protective gear, flip it around, and we're gonna proceed with heating the front up again. Just a mixture, so that way both sides is heated up. Okay, battery should be hot enough to remove. Now carefully, whenever you use a heat gun, move it to the side because the tip is hot. Move this to the side, and you're going to use pry tools. You can use these or one of these, whatever is best for you, but I recommend these. These hold up to pretty good pressure. And on a flat surface, what you're going to do is wedge underneath the battery. And it should come out just as easily, just like that, with some pressure. Like I said, the glue was removed, that's why it's a lot easier for me. But now if you have a tough time, you're just going to slightly, just carefully from side to side. Don't go too high, especially on the 6 models, because you have just trying to show you guys in the battery room, you have the flex cable here, so you don't want to go too high and avoid damaging those. So, like I said, if it's giving you a little bit of a fight, just slowly wedge it up and then move over to the side. Avoid trying to wedge on this side because the battery connector is here. So, as you can see, I'm lifting it from this side, and it should pop up over time. Now, if it's still tough, I would recommend heating it up a little bit more. Just like this, heating it up a little more. And then you would eventually get the battery out to pop out. Now, using your replacement, you should have one of these. Now, if your glue is still intact, not to worry, you can reuse it again. Just heat the back up a little. Once it's installed, just heat the back up a little, not too much, just a tad bit, to where the glue is hot enough to re-stick. Now, if you don't, in this case, if the glue fully came off, you will need some tape, 3M tape. Just cut like little squares to where you got one slab here and one slab here, and just connect it and sit it, or not connect it, but just make sure it's close enough to the connector, and just let it sit, and it'll eventually stick, and just like that. And then from here, connect your screen back, and screw your case in, or your metal plate, and just like that, guys. Having the battery replaced is easy. It just requires a little bit of patience. If you have any questions, I mean, any comments, don't be shy. Leave them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And thanks for watching.